Hey guys, and welcome back to the TC Games Daily Origami series. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this spider, which is a modular unit, and it's comprised of two separate pieces, like this. So for this you're going to need two square sheets of paper, and you really don't need glue for this because as you can see it stays together quite well. So if you wanted to you could use glue, but it's not really necessary. So once again you're going to need two square sheets of paper, both of which should be the same size. And let's get started. Okay, so for this model you're going to need two square sheets of paper which are equal in size. And first we're going to work with our first square sheet. And we're going to start by turning it so that the color side is facing down. And we want to get this to the square base. So to do that we're going to start by folding it so that the top edge aligns with the bottom edge. Fold it down like that. And once that's properly aligned, give it a nice crease. Just like that. Crease it in. Now we're going to fold it so that this edge comes in lines with this edge. So fold it in half sideways. Crease it in. Unfold it. And now we're going to fold it so that this top edge aligns with the center crease there. Crease that into place once you have it properly aligned. Do the same thing on this side, fold it so that the top edge aligns with the center. Just like that. Crease it into place. Unfold the two flaps, and you should get a shape like this. Once you've got to this shape, unfold the entire model, and you should have two diagonal creases as well as a horizontal and vertical crease going through the center. We're now going to go to one of the diagonal creases and just fold it down along that. It doesn't matter which one. So you should get a shape like this. Now we're going to hold the left side, grab this tip here, and bring it to the center, creating this flap on the top. Collapse this flap down, crease it in. Do the same thing on the side, grab this tip here, bring it to the center, collapse the top flap down, and you should then end up with the square base, which should now look like this. Now that you've got it to this shape, we're now going to fold it so that this edge comes and meets the center crease. So that's the top edge, like this. Crease it in nicely. Do the same thing on this side, fold it so that this edge meets the center crease. Once it's aligned, give it a nice crease. Unfold the two flaps. Flip the model over, do the same thing, fold it so that this edge meets the center, crease it in, do the same thing on this edge here, fold it to the center, and once you have it aligned, give it a nice crease, all the way through like that, unfold the two flaps. Now we're going to take one of the flaps, it doesn't matter which one, and we're just going to lift it up. And to lift it up, we're going to fold it to the left first, to the right, and then it should just stand up like that. Then we're going to open it up from the center. And we're going to squash it down from the top. Crease in the edges, and you should get a shape like this. Now we're going to flip this to the right so that we can get to the next flap. Again, we're going to fold the flap to the right, and then the left, and then it should just stand up. Open it up from the center, squash it down from the top, crease it in, and you should get a shape like this. Now we're going to take this flap and just fold it back, like that. Flip the model over. We want to do the same thing with this flap here, so raise this flap, open it up, collapse the top part down, crease it in. Take this flap, fold it to the right, do the same thing with this one. So we're going to fold it to the right, left, make it stand up, open it out, and then collapse the top part down, like that, crease it in. Now take this flap and fold it back to the left, and you should now end up with a shape that looks like this. Okay, so once we've got it to this shape, we should now have 4 flaps on the right, and 4 flaps on the left, and the top part should look like this, and the bottom part should look the same, like that. We're now going to take this flap here, the one to the right, and turn it to the left, just like that. Now flip the model over to the other side. Again, we're going to take the one flap to the right and turn it left. So now you should have this white part exposed on both sides, just like that. What we're going to do now is we're going to fold it so that this edge comes and aligns with the center. Crease it into place. Do the same thing here, fold it so that this edge aligns with the center. Once you've got that properly aligned, crease it in. Unfold the two flaps, and you should get a crease pattern that looks like this. It should go from some point here all the way down to the tip there. So once you got to this shape, we're going to lift this up and open it out. Then we're going to take this edge and we're going to push it in so that it folds along the creases that we just made. Do the same thing here, open this up, push this edge in, and you should then get a shape like this. Now we're going to take this tip here and we're going to fold it so that we get a crease running from this tip here all the way up to the center crease there. Or essentially this bottom edge here should come in line with this edge. Crease it in. And this is just going to help with the next step. Unfold it, do the same thing here. Fold it so that you get a crease from the center crease there all the way up to this tip. So fold it so that this bottom edge aligns with that center crease, just like that. Crease it in. Unfold it. What we're going to do now is we're going to lift this up, like that. And we're going to take this tip here and we're going to push it in so that it folds along that crease that we just made, just like that. And then push this entire thing inwards. Do the same thing here. Push it along that edge there so that it folds along that diagonal crease. And then push that entire thing inwards so that you end up with a shape like this. And then just collapse it down. And you should get something that looks more or less like this. Now in case that was confusing, I'm going to do it again on this side, so hopefully it'll be clear this time. So first, again, we're going to start by folding it so that this bottom edge aligns with the center. Like that. Crease it in once you have it properly aligned. Do the same thing here, fold it so that this edge aligns with that edge. Again, creasing it in when you have it properly aligned. Unfold the two flaps, open this out, push this edge in so that it folds along the crease that we just made. Do the same thing here, push it in so that it folds along the crease that we just made. Collapse this down. Now we're going to fold this bottom edge to the center crease. Crease it in. Do the same thing here, fold this bottom edge to the center crease. Crease it in. And you should get a shape like this at this point. Now we're going to unfold those two flaps. We're going to lift it up and we're going to push right along this edge here so that it folds along the crease that we just made. Do the same thing here, push along this edge so that it folds along the crease that we just made. Then you're going to have these two here, just push those in and collapse this flap down until you get a shape like this. Okay, so once we're at this stage, both the sides should look like this. What we're going to do now is we're going to take the right flap here, we're going to fold it to the left once, take the next one, fold it to the left once, so that you get this shape once again, where you have the white part. Flip it over to the other side, we're going to do the same thing again. Take your first right flap, fold it to the left, take your second right flap, fold it to the left, and you should again end up with a shape like this. Now we're going to repeat all those steps on both of these sides here. So once again, we're going to fold it so that this edge folds to the center. Crease it in. Do the same thing here, fold it so that this edge folds to the center. Crease it in. Unfold the two flaps, lift this up, push this edge in so that it folds along the already existing crease. Do the same thing here. Fold it down, fold this edge to the center, crease it in. Do the same thing here, fold this edge to the center, crease it in. Unfold the two flaps, lift this up, push this edge inward so that it folds along the crease that we just made. Do the same thing here, push this edge in so that it folds along the crease that we just made. Then take this bottom part, push it up. Take this tip, collapse it down, crease it into place. Flip the model over to the other side, and you have to do it just one more time and then you're finished with this step. So fold it so that this edge aligns with the center. Crease it in. Do the same thing here, fold this edge to the center. Once you have that aligned, crease it in. Unfold the two flaps, lift this up, push that in so that it folds along the already existing crease. Do the same thing here, push that in, collapse this down. Now we're going to fold it so that this edge aligns with that crease. So fold this up. Once you have that aligned, crease it in. Do the same thing here, fold this edge up to that center crease. Just like that, crease it into place. And I'm just readjusting this because it's not properly aligned. Unfold the two flaps, lift this up, push this corner in so that it folds along that crease, same here. Grab these two flaps, push it down, and fold this down. And you should now end up with what is known as a frog base. Now that you've done all those steps for this model here, you're going to need to do the same thing on this square sheet. And I'm going to fold this piece of paper to this stage right here so that it turns into a frog base. And then we can work on the head and the backside of the spider, but both of them are derived from this frog base here. And in a few minutes, this piece of paper should look exactly like this. Okay, so now as you can see, both the sheets have been turned into the frog base. Now if you guys had any troubles getting it to this stage, then you can look at a website that I'm going to post in the description. It's going to have step-by-step instructions on how to get to this stage, so hopefully that will be helpful. So now we're going to put one of these units aside. I'm going to use this one to make the head, so we're going to work on the base of the spider now. So to begin with, what we're going to do is we're going to grab these two flaps right here. And we're going to start by pulling it apart a little bit. And our goal is to grab this flap here and to just fold it into itself like that, and then fold it back into place. So I'm going to do that again on this side. We're going to grab these two flaps here, pull it apart like this, and that just makes it easy to push this down, and that should then fold into place on its own, giving you a shape like this. And as you can see, those flaps are now neatly tucked in like that. Now we're going to take this and we're going to take the right flap here, fold it to the left, do the same thing one more time, and again you're going to have this flap type thing on this side. Flip the model over to the other side, take the first right flap, fold it to the left, do the same thing one more time, fold it to the left, and again you're going to have another flap thing on this side. So we're going to repeat the same kind of step. So grab the two flaps, pull it apart, and you kind of want to tuck this thing into itself, just like that. Fold it back into place. Do the same thing on the last side here. So pull these two apart, grab this flap, tuck it into itself, until you end up with a nice little shape like this. Now we're going to take this edge right here and we're going to fold it right up to the center right here. So we're going to take this edge, fold it down to the center like this. And you want to get a nice pointed tip at that edge, just like that. Crease it into place. Do the same thing on this side, fold this edge to the center. Again, giving it a nice tip, just like that. Crease it into place. Flip the model over to the other side, do the same thing, fold this edge to the center. crease it into place. And finally do the same thing on this edge here. Fold it to the center and then crease it in. Now once you've done this, you're going to still have these two flaps, and we want to get these flaps to look just like this, and to do that we're going to grab this first flap here, fold it to the left, grab the second one, fold it to the left, so that you end up with this shape again. Flip the model over to the other side, take the first right flap, fold it to the left, take the second flap, fold it to the left, and again you're going to end up with this shape on both sides. So once again, fold the top edge to the center, crease it in, do the same thing here, fold this edge to the center, crease that in, flip the model over, fold this edge to the center, then crease it. Finally do the same thing here, fold this edge to the center, crease it into place, and you should then end up with a shape like this. Now we're going to use each of these 4 flaps to make the legs. So we're going to start with this one. We're going to open it up, grab this, and then just pull it down to create a reverse fold. Just like that. Pinch it back into place. Like so. There's going to be a lot of paper there, so take your time with it and really crease it into place. Do the same thing here. Open this up, pull it down, and create a reverse fold. Like that. So you then end up with a shape like this. Now we're going to do something similar with these 2 flaps. We're going to again open it up from the center, reverse fold it, but we're going to leave it a lot higher than this leg here. So first we're going to pinch that in and then pull it up a little bit so that it's sitting a little bit higher than this leg, just like that. Do the same thing here, open it up from the side, reverse fold it, but then pull it up so that it's sitting at the same height as this one here, and then just adjust it into place by folding it properly like that. And you should then end up with a shape like this. Now we're going to take each of these legs and we're going to take about half of it and then create a reverse fold at that point once again, but this time it's going to be going downwards. Like so. Do the same thing here, open it up, create a reverse fold at about the halfway point, somewhere around there, and allow it to come down like that. And I'm just going to adjust this one as well, just a little bit. Okay. There we go. And then do the same thing with these legs here. Create a reverse fold at some point there. And finally do the same thing here. And to finish it off, there's going to be an opening right there. Go ahead and blow into that, and that's going to expand the back side here. So once you've blown it up, it should look more or less like this, and then you can start to twist the leg so that it lifts this bottom part up off the ground, sort of like that. And when you make the front part, it should be more stable. So we're going to now put this aside and work on the front part of the spider. Okay, this time we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to start with this first flap here, and we're just going to reverse fold it down to about that length there. And you want to pull it up so that this edge is standing straight, like that. Crease it in. Do the same thing here. Take this first flap, open it up, reverse fold it, like that. And then once you've got that folded out, take this edge and make sure it's sitting straight. And you want this edge to basically touch this tip right here. And it should look like this. Now we're going to fold it so that this edge comes and folds to the center. So fold it up like that. Once you've got that aligned, crease it in. And as you'll notice, it's going to create this protrusion here. You want to fold this down and just allow that to squash down. At the same time, allow this to fold down the length of that flap there. Crease it in. And it should basically fold naturally as you push it down. Do the same thing here, fold this edge to the center. Crease it in. Again, you're going to have that protrusion, so start pulling that down all the way through the length of this flap. And just go ahead and just crease that into place so that you get a shape like this. And if it's a little bit uneven with this side, just adjust it so that both sides look more or less the same. Just like that. Now we're going to take this right flap here, fold it to the left one time. We're going to fold this edge to the center there. Crease it into place. And I'm going to center it a little bit more. Like that. And as you can see, it's going to create this little protrusion once again. Go ahead and squash that down and then fold this down the length like we did with the other two folds in the previous steps. So once that's folded in, it should look like this. Take this flap, fold it back to the right. Take the left flap, fold it to the right, and that's going to expose this side here. We're now going to fold it so that this edge folds to that crease right there in the center. Crease it in. You're then going to have this protrusion once again. Just fold that down. Fold it along the length of that flap. Crease it into place. Take this flap, fold it to the left, and that's going to be your one finished side. Now we're going to repeat all those steps on the other side, so flip it over to the side. This time we're going to have this flap facing up, but the steps are pretty similar. We're going to fold this edge to the center. Crease it in. But as you can see, we don't have that protrusion there because the flap is standing straight, so we don't have to worry about that. Fold this edge to the center as well. Crease that in. Now we're going to take the right flap, fold it to the left. This time we're going to fold this edge to the center, this way. Crease it in. Take the left flap, fold it back out to the right. Now we're going to take the left flap here, fold it to the right. Do the same thing here. Fold this edge to the center crease. Crease it in. Take the right flap, fold it back to the left, until you end up with a shape like this. Now we're going to take these two flaps and we're going to pull it out just a little bit. Like that. And again, we're going to take this, fold it to the left. Now we're going to fold the top edge to the center, just to make those top flaps really thin, to make the last two legs. So fold this flap to the center as well. Then fold this back. And the paper is going to get really thick at this point. And as you can see, we've made that top flap really thin. And again, we're going to start pulling that away from the head a little bit. Do the same thing here. So open it so that this flap goes to the right. Fold this edge to the center. Fold that edge to the center. Fold it back into place. And then take this leg and pull it away from the face a little bit. Okay, so once you got to this stage and you created all those flaps, what we're going to do is we're going to take this first flap here and just fold it down like that. Do the same thing with the second flap, and how you shape it up is entirely up to you. This is just one way. And I'm going to do the same thing here. But first I'm just going to pinch it so that this edge comes in lines with that edge, making this leg even thinner, like that. And then bring this down, sort of like that. And again, you can decide how you want to shape it up. It doesn't have to be this way. So do the same thing here if you like. And you should then get a shape like this. What we're going to do now is we're going to take this and we're going to insert it into this opening right here in the back side of the spider. Just like that. Just push it in as far as it'll go. And that should be your finished spider. The stage, which should now look like this. So thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, don't forget to rate and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.